Hi, my name is Paul Shore, and you're watching The Street Speaks, a spontaneous speaker's corner for Montrealers, where I give you and your neighbors an unfiltered platform to express yourselves about anything in particular. Nothing is off limits. This week, Montrealers are speaking up about that je ne sais quoi that makes Montreal so unique. They're ranting about current austerity measures. They're sounding off on how their technology is affecting their relationships, and some are even sharing tales of loss with me that many of us can identify with. I've also invited former Cirque du Soleil clown, local writer and actor of the comedy troupe Uncalled For, Michael Hughes, up onto the Street Speak soapbox. And ahead, Skinny Bros, our house band, Paul and Chris Carniello, return.
Well, I feel very lucky that my parents made sure that I learned French and I was in a good French program.
Well, I mean, like I said before, like one thing that I had to get used to is the language.
Not that much frustrates me. I guess this Anglo-Francophone debate, because everybody here has been really accommodating to me. I thought that when I came here, I would have to learn French immediately or I would have no friends, but everyone is super tolerant of me speaking English whenever I want.
So, I mean, that's not frustrating because that's just people trying to kind of make it easier on you, but it is a bit frustrating if you are trying to practice speaking French and people don't really allow you to, but I mean, that's kind of my own fault for not trying harder, I guess.
You know, English rights, if you're going to call them, and the English angst, I don't have that because I'm able to read everything. I'm able to follow the news. I have French friends.
That's something that's a bit frustrating is if you come here thinking that you'll be able to really improve and then you can't because people don't really speak to you in French. They always want to speak English and stuff, so that's one thing.
And if I do try speaking French, they're so excited. And so I don't really understand when Anglos are upset with Francophones.
Are you in a bit of
I
a bubble,
haven't had
though?
that experience.
You are in school, right?
I am in school.
Are you in a bubble?
I'm in a little bit of a bubble, but there are some Francophones in my program that I'm friends with, and they've introduced me to other Francophone friends of theirs. Yeah.
I don't feel left out, so when people move here from other provinces and they're like, why are my documents not in English? I'm just not really that sympathetic.
I think Montreal is honestly great. I think the Franco-Anglo thing is a little bit more apparent than she makes it out to be. I think it does deter a lot of tourists. I think Quebec is screwing themselves up.
It's just a fact of life that French is part of life here. You can't get away from it, right? So
A lot of people, even in the Quebecois community, have trouble speaking and writing French.
Yeah, of course.
Why, of course?
I don't know. It's the school changed, the kids changed, the program changed.
some kid can't handle it in French school and they can't get switched out or whatever, I don't know. I'm just like, I'm not interested.
And I think the level is going down, and the expectations are going down as well. So
People have a choice of going to Toronto. All the workers are going there, so it's kind of a shame. I'm losing a lot of friends to Toronto. But I still think Montreal's better than Toronto, and hey, we make it to the playoffs every single damn year, so.
What sport are you talking about?
Hockey.
Okay.
It's funny to me because when people talk past me in old ideas between Anglos and Francos or different cultural communities that used to have infighting 30 years ago, but whose kids moved out of the city a long time ago and it's just old men fighting. Those are issues that'll die off with generations.
I'm very happy to welcome back to the show our house band, Skinny Bros.
I think the way the information highway system's going, it takes away a lot from individuals having social contact with each other.
I'm a social worker back in Switzerland, and you can see all these kids walking around with their smartphones, and to me they don't really get time anymore to talk to each other like in person. So
sometimes I just wish I had that like traditional, friend hears you're in trouble and comes over there and pulls you out of bed. Like, that's not going to happen. Someone's going to text you and phone you and say, I already did something to try to help you. But really, they weren't there like pulling you out. They were just trying to contact you.
And I think within the years to come, you'll find a lot of people being a lot more aloof, a lot more introverted. And I think that's a problem, yeah, as opposed to actually having some other sort of visual stimulation. That's the highest form of visual stimulation we have right now. It's a computer.
And it's sort of like you're like off the hook if you like did text them. The way that people can like cancel plans so easily like 20 minutes before, I think is super flaky and just ridiculous. I think people should be able to just stick with what they said they were going to do and be real, I guess.
The importance about networking and just being close to your relatives that maybe live abroad and stuff. I think it makes people get together easier, but it doesn't mean that you have to overuse the internet and social media.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I'm trying to wean myself more and more off of it.
Have you ever unplugged like for a week?
Yeah.
Is it hard?
Not a week, but like
Was it
just
hard?
a couple of days. Yeah, it is. It is, because like, you gotta reach people, people are, you gotta talk to people.
I mean, with an iPhone, you have this feature where you can block somebody's number. This has been like an issue in my life where like I've had my number blocked, and like it's not fair to just like, give someone some information and be like, I don't want you anymore, and then block their number, and then they have no defense and nothing, and you're just basically cutting them off entirely. I don't think that's humane, personally.
It's like every excess in life. You can drive a car, a big Ferrari, but if you don't drive at like 200 kilometers an hour, it's okay. If chocolate is good, if you eat too much, it's not good for your health. It's just like everything. Everything which is in excess is not good.
Because I feel that deep inside, most people are looking for the same things that we've both been looking for a very long time. Connections, meaning, belonging, all these core truths.
I don't know, I think there's gonna be a shift. I think hopefully people are starting to realize like we're being too dependent on these things. These things that are supposed to connect us are really just making us build more walls.
But I think I'm optimistic. I think we can do this. I think we need to embrace the challenge. I am not worried whether Samuel will have 12 smartphones so long as he's able to discern between them what the heck is happening.
Right now, I'm pretty passionate about the anti-austerity motion and studying this further. I don't know. And within the Concordia University right now, we're having a lot of problems with the administration. In regards to they had made promises to the students that they would be allowed to protest freely, and then now they've been brought up on charges.
The law for protest, yeah, that would definitely change that one. Because a lot of people are getting criminalized, and they can't even protest anymore. Lots of people are getting arrested and having like crazy fines. So like people can't really express themselves anymore.
It seems inconsistent and unfair, and unfortunately, because they purposely didn't have minutes for a lot of these meetings, there's no one to hold them accountable. And I think it's really unfortunate, looking to the future, that we're not going to be able to have an open dialogue with them in the same way, that they did abuse the trust of that situation. And I think that's a situation that's happening with a lot of students right now.
I'm cool with Quebec. It's all right. Taxes are high, I know for sure. So I think taxes are extremely high, and the fact that they're in debt right now is pretty crazy. The fact that they're cutting education is kind of like a weak way to deal with it. So I'm not too stoked about that.
Like, I don't know, you're essentially building a new generation that doesn't trust any authority, is kind of scared of the cops, rightfully so.
Why do you think we got military police? Because the big boys are afraid. They see what's coming. They arm the RCMP like military. All the local cops got all kinds of killing devices. They have no respect for the people.
And how is that going to pan out, really, in the next couple of years? Like, either we're going to have to change something, or we're going to be very bitter and not be able to get very much done.
And it's obvious when you try to exercise your democratic rights by organizing in the street and demonstrating, you get beat. You get whacked on the fucking head and you get thrown in jail.
The
camo pants.
Eh?
They're camo
Okay, besides
pants.
the fashion, do you have a problem? Do you have any
No,
issues
it's not
with
their fashion. That is not the point. It's not because I don't like camo. I love camo. I don't think that an officer who's upholding the law should come and tell me what I should be doing while he is completely disrespecting the system.
Like, I don't know, I'm really concerned overall about where Quebec is heading, where Montreal is heading.
Is there hope?
I think...
Are you a hopeful person? Or?
I think there's always hope. I think until, like, you really can't do anything anymore, you still have hope.
You're a uniformed officer. You want to demand respect from people. Act like it. Lead by an example.
Right? It's slim. It's a slim hope most of the time. You're fighting, like, it's an uphill battle. But as long as you can still get up and still do stuff, then yeah, you still have hope.
The words language and politics are no stranger to countless conversations amongst Montrealers. It kind of never gets old and keeps evolving. And there's no shortage of these issues in the work of our city's countless talented artists. I'm very proud to welcome to the Street Speak Soapbox former Cirque du Soleil clown, local writer and actor of the comedy troupe Uncalled For, Michael Hughes.
Who am I? I'm an English major, minor in philosophy. Okay, so you say the truth is in the dictionary? The dictionary is not the sum of all of our knowledge. A dictionary is a snapshot, and once it's taken, it's out of date, because language is fluid and constantly evolving. Did you know that there are words that are inserted into dictionaries purposefully by dictionary editors that are not real words? They call them mount weasels, fake entries that are there to catch copyright infringers, because if you plagiarize a whole dictionary, you'll copy the fake word too, and then you'll get caught. Fake words? That's what I said. Okay, viewer, what do you got there? The little Oxford? Okay, go on then. Look up esquivalience. The willful avoidance of one's official responsibilities. Not a real word. Yeah, sure, it's in your precious dictionary, but it's not even a real word. Okay, it's not in any other dictionary. There's no root for it in any other language. It's a totally fake, made-up word. Bam! Where's your truth now? English major, out.
You get something in Montreal that you actually don't get anywhere else in the world. And I'm confident in saying that. I'm so confident in the idea of Montreal and the people who live here and the combination of being out of the circle in North America, but clearly geographically attached to the area, being dependent on an English economy to the south and west of us, but still feel like they can develop their own thing.
Say Montreal, what comes to your mind?
Awesomeness. No, I love the city.
What do you love about it?
I love the diversity and the culture of acceptance here.
You like it?
I like it.
What do you like about it?
People are really friendly.
And the friendliness. I came here only knowing her. She was the only person I knew.
That's true.
And I've made so many friends here. And I'm a little bit of a shy person. So it's really miraculous that I feel really well connected here.
The environment. There's one thing I like here, that people don't smoke in the public space. Indoors, I really like it.
So you came for school and you never left?
I did, actually. I went to England, I went to Vancouver again, but Vancouver's kind of... It's beautiful, but a little superficial for my taste. I like the culture, I like the diversity of Montreal.
I came here, I did fall in love with the city. There's a certain attitude and a certain pace of the city that can't really be described or be translated.
And I like the fact that nobody asks you what you do in life as if they're trying to grade you. They just ask you like, hey, what's up?
It suits my personality, it suits my passions, and that's why I'm still here.
I love Montreal. I think it's one of the top 5 cities in North America, especially in the summertime. I love the fact that everybody from the Maritimes and Ottawa comes to Montreal to party. I think Montreal's got something for everyone.
And being from Toronto, it's kind of the same, but you got a little bit more of like a European feel. I feel here it's more like relaxed. People are more like talkative. How are you doing? This stuff.
I mean, people say that it's kind of a European vibe to the city. Not really sure whether or not I agree with that, but there is definitely something unique.
I know a lot of people that finished university, they come here for the party aspect or the fun factor for about 4 years, and then they graduate and they leave. I stuck it out and I stayed.
Yeah. It's where I'm from. There's a diversity here and an aliveness in that conversation that doesn't exist elsewhere. Other cities have other problems, just like Montreal does, and that's a humbling reality that you're not unique in the troubles you're going through. But the issues in Montreal are very, very solvable.
I was born here, every place I've ever lived. I've been told I'm not from there. This is the only city I can stand where they cannot argue with it. I was born here, and every place that I look at is the memory of the woman who gave me up for adoption, and it was this city that she had faith in that act. So I look at that and I can't help but love it.
You've been working in municipal politics for how long?
I really got engaged at the beginning of 2013. That period for me was a very, very big eye-opener, that everybody was jockeying for power.
I don't live in this riding, but I was advised by someone who worked in government that if I wanted to see change, that perhaps I could volunteer in a riding that isn't mine.
I tried to get implicated on a municipal level. I was asked to.
Okay.
And after a few meetings, I started asking questions. And they told me, these questions are not welcome here. So I'm not in politics anymore.
We're culturally divided because of our politics. And I'm sick of people using other excuses as to why we don't communicate properly, because our leaders don't communicate properly. So how are we supposed to have a back and forth on the street if the people who are making decisions for our communities, for our businesses, for our social lives aren't communicating back and forth properly? So it's a dribble down effect of the lack of communication at the leadership level and the lack of vision for a whole society on the island of Montreal.
There have been well-known politicians recently who said the Jews take up too much space in Quebec.
I would say for people who are uninformed about the current situation, that's why I'm frustrated with media in general in Montreal. You don't have a cohesive narrative that really brings people together. In fact, it drives people apart.
Yes, we stand out because we are concentrated. Why are we concentrated in the neighborhood? We're not looking for a ghetto.
If you didn't listen to any or absorb any media in Montreal, you would be much happier living here than if you actually did.
The reason they always live together is because most of them do not drive, and they have to go to the synagogue every day. On Shabbat, nobody drives, everybody walks. So they have to live close to their religious amenities.
This is a welcoming community in the world. Montreal accepts I think over 23% of the island of Montreal was not born in Canada. But we're not a refugee hosting place. People leave the place they've always lived to move to Montreal, to Vancouver, to Toronto. And when I say those three in succession, there's something different about Montreal.
Well, since our way of life is different than run-of-the-mill Québécois, there are people within the neighborhood who are always pointing out why are they getting special treatment. When people are pointing out, why can't they be like us? Well, we are not like you.
Why does it matter to you? I don't know yet, because we're not talking amongst ourselves properly. We're talking in smaller communities, and those conversations have enough in common that I feel like a conversation amongst all those people all together would generate a more rich, more diverse culture than individually kettling them and putting them into ghettos. So it's about the future. It's about what comes next after what we currently have, and I want to be part of that discussion no matter what.
It's different life.
Why?
Because the time you have wife, you have company. You have everything. You like you go there, you go together. You like you make this, the wife, he prepare the food, he prepare this, he make this, he make this. He make everything. Now me, I make everything because the wife not there.
So when did your mom die?
Last year,
man.
22nd of February, hung herself. Suicide.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Was your mom sick?
Whatever, man. She wasn't
Depressed?
healthy. She wasn't the healthiest woman, you know.
Did you have a relationship with her?
I did.
So
Very
tell me
much.
what the last year has been like for you. Must have been very
For
difficult.
the past year, I've been drinking, I've been smoking, I've been doing drugs.
I've opened my heart to people, to life, to myself. I've learned to forgive, I've learned to let go, I've learned to be angry. That was big. If I'd been angry about my daughters dying, I'd still be angry. They died 10 years ago.
In the life like this, me too, one day I'm not here.
Is it lonely?
Huh?
Is it lonely?
Yeah.
And I decided to change my life, you know. I decided to turn it around and to go to school. I've been off pot for a month and 3 weeks now. Very good. I mean, I'm still drinking, but at least I'm away from drugs, you know. Now I'm going to school and I'm doing the right thing and I'm getting my life back together.
My father is from Philadelphia, my mother's from Harlem, New York.
Okay.
And the reason we came back here is because my uncle was diagnosed with breast cancer, and he had lung cancer as well, and he had AIDS.
So
He passed.
Your family moved back to Canada to
Yeah.
take care of your...
My uncle.
That's so beautiful.
Yeah.
Took the
And
whole
we ended up
family.
staying because we
Okay.
couldn't separate from them, so.
Yeah.
You sit for a long time being completely... But it comes and goes, and it's important to honor a life that I had for each of them for over 40 years. Brilliant, smart, beautiful women. I mean, what am I gonna do?
It's a waste of energy to be angry.
Total waste of energy.
I remember a lot about him.
Do you remember how
He was a drag queen, very vivacious. He taught me everything I know about fashion and makeup, and from there that's one of my passions because of him.
Well, my mom was bipolar, you know. It was a rough childhood. It wasn't easy at all, you know. I never met my real dad, biological dad. I never had one. She got married when I was 7 years old.
Okay.
Okay.
To
She
another
got
man.
married with some German guy, you know.
Okay.
And you know, it was a rough childhood, you know. I always had to pretend that he was my father when I knew he wasn't. My little sister came in the way, and then, you know, I had to treat her like she was my full sister, which I did, and I still love my sister as she is my full sister.
My brother also passed away 5 years ago, which is also sad, but there was 5 of us and it was 4 of us, not 3 of us, but we're still incredibly close. We're there for our father. Me and my sister are best friends.
You kind of pretend it's not happening. I put them away in a private box so that when they come to me, I talk to them And so I have an ongoing relationship with my daughters in my own heart. Because if I'm sad every day, all the time, I have 2 sons, I have 9 grandchildren, I have a plethora of friends and people who care about me. So I've got to work with that. I mean, I'm hoping I have more than 10 years. And if I do, we'll do great things.
That wraps up another edition of The Street Speaks. Thank you, Montrealers, for sharing. You have amazing personal stories and opinions. And thank you for watching. A special thank you to local writer-actor Michael Hughes, who owned our soapbox, and to the Street Speaks house band, Skinny Bros. Our hashtag is StreetSpeaks514, and if you want to get in touch with me, don't be shy. I'll be filming again very, very soon, and I can be reached at the StreetSpeaks514@gmail.com, and I will reply. Join me next week as Montrealers are sharing tales of coming out of the closet. Natives adopted by Jewish families in the 60s and 70s are sharing their amazing personal stories, and some are giving me an earful about our educational system and what needs fixing. Also, performance artist Céline Bellaterreur takes to the Street Speaks soapbox and speaks out about the interplay between beauty and feminism. See you next time.
My name is Shirley Ann Walker, and you've been listening to Street Speaks. Check in again. It's always a new conversation and a lot of fun. Mwah.